Greetings, unsettled souls. Welcome to The Correct Views. Sam I.B. to Gangi doing political commentary for the Media Speaks. Literally setting up as we go. Tsunami happening in Japan. Not good, friends. I've got fact cam going here. You guys will be able to see everything, hopefully, behind me here. Thank you. Christelle, my behind-the-scenes queen, is unfortunately at work. We have major news, in which case we had to go live. For those of you who do not know, there is tsunami happening in Japan right now. Major bad. Friends, if you don't know why that matters so much, let me be the one to grimly tell you. Tsunami has wreaked havoc on Japan already. What it has done to Fukushima, it has caused cancer rates to literally skyrocket. What we are seeing in Fukushima is unlike anything that we have seen. We don't even have the science at this time to properly address just what the problem is or how to clean it up. We don't even know where all of the spent fuel is. And this is becoming an even bigger problem now that we're looking at massive Fukushima as we don't know how big it's going to be. It was 6 miles into the ocean, which is relatively shallow. And the reason that matters so much is because when it's more shallow, it's much more apt to produce tidal waves and tsunami, which could wreak substantial havoc on the entire area. So this matters an awful lot, friends. We got fact cam back here. That's for you guys on the higher def cam. You guys right here, we're going to go ahead and I'll be going to screen share quite often. I'm also doing this. I am putting the tsunami news up. Let's go ahead and listen to just a piece of it real quick as they talk here. Let's see what it is that's happening. Friends, this is bad news. If that cooling unit goes, and so far they've had trouble with it. They've had the cooling unit shut down, and they're not really sure why. They think it could have been triggered when the earthquake happened. But there are a lot of mysteries that a lot of us are not comfortable with. We know that TEPCO has lied to us in the past.
Patriotism. As far as passion,
we can suspect that they would lie to us again. So those of you that can do your own research, do so. Who should you trust? If I give you anything, it's definitely going to be true. If you want absolute facts from doctors, I suggest watch The Coming Days, What Comes Up from Helen Caldicott, Lauren Moet, David Blanche, Arnie Gunderson, and specifically Chris Busby. I would watch all of them. Friends, here is what we're looking at from Japan right now. Again, this is live. They don't have the translator on at this time. We're going to leave that live, and we're going to go ahead to the news of it. But again, I'm leaving that open on the side there, going screen share. And we're going to keep an eye on this. Perhaps when I'm off air with this show and I'm done with the broadcast, I may leave the live stream from Fox up. Make sure you donate, because I probably won't be able to monetize this video after I do it, but I'm going to do it for you guys anyway. It's to correct views at hotmail.com. Donate through PayPal. Again, live feed there at, and again, this is General Mountain Time. At 19, 2 more offshore aftershocks measuring 4.9 and 4.6 were seen. This was after a 7.3 earthquake struck off Japan's Fukushima prefecture, triggering a potentially deadly tsunami tidal wave, for those of you in America, which authorities warn could be higher than 3 meters if it reaches the shore. That's about 10 feet, friends. Excuse me. At 13, some 3 hours after the powerful earthquake, a 1.4 high meter tsunami was observed in Sendai Miyagi Prefecture at 8:03 at O2, TEPCO, in a news update, said that Fukushima power plant remains intact. Again, this is from RT, friends, just joining in. And safe after operator confirmed the restarting of Nuclear 3 spent fuel pool at 7:49. At 6:38 a.m., the Fukushima Daiichi and Daini plants experienced the 1-meter high tsunami wave, the company said, adding that the second wave was not very high. I wonder what they're hiding about the first wave, if anything. We know that they have lied to us before. 23:45 General Means time. Tokyo Electric Power Company confirmed that the cooling system in reactor 3 spent fuel pool stopped working, but restarted 90 minutes after shutdown. No cooling leaks or any other abnormalities were reported. Japan's meteorological agency updated information about the earthquake, revising the magnitude up to 7.4 on the Richter scale on the previous 7.3. The depth was also raised to 25 kilometers. Now, the reason that matters is you might think, oh, well, a 7.4 or a 7.3, it doesn't matter. No. This is done on a scientific principle known as orders of magnitude. That means that a 0.3 is 10 times worse than a 7.4, not the 1% that you're thinking. A 7.1 and a 7.2. A 7.2 is 10 times worse. That's the way that works. It's not the fractional math that you're thinking when you look at it. 2319, tsunami warning is also in place for Miyagi Prefecture. And you can scroll down and see all the way up to where we are now, of course. At 2250, Tokyo Electric Power Company told national broadcaster NHK that the cooling system in reactors spent 3 fuel pool had stopped working. Japan's National Nuclear Agency has confirmed that the temperature rise in the pool is gradual. Now, friends, do you know what that means? Gradual. It means that it is slowly but surely coming up. There are reactions happening within the corium, which is the melted fuel that is, of course, causing havoc and cancer risks and everything else all through the area. That is what that means. We're already seeing a warming here. What were we warned about for so long? We were told, do not build these things here. This was told by doctors and scientists and geologists the world over that this was the kind of thing that we were going to see. And they predicted that it would happen around 08 or 09. Were they mystics? Were they clairvoyants and psychics? No, they were scientists from many fields that all agreed that this could happen and warned of it. Right? It happened in 2011. Geologically speaking, when you predict 08, 09, and you hit it by 2011, that's still the outer ring of the bullseye, friends. They were warned, and they did this anyway. We're going to see if they've gone back to English for a moment here. Yes.
In Miyagi Prefecture, the tsunami warning has been issued. Yes, on the right-hand side. So you're all flying above the Miyagi Prefecture port. So you are not seeing the.
All right, so they've still got some of the evacuation warning in place there. I'm not going to go ahead and read the entire text of this RT article here. I am going to go over the main parts and going to continue to scroll down so that those of you watching on FactCam can see it, as well as those of you I'm going to screen share on the Media Speaks. That's why you got to subscribe to both the Media Speaks and YouTube, friends. There's all the Japan's meteorological agency updated the information about the earthquake, revising it once again. Again, this is a nightmare, friends. This is bad because you could be looking at huge problems with our very existence due to something like this. This is the kind of thing that could devastate the entire northern hemisphere. This isn't something that might be a problem. If there's some kind of a meltdown here, this is going to be a problem. What have we seen so far? We've seen meltdowns, melt-outs, and melt-throughs. What is that? A meltdown is when, let's say that this bumper sticker here is, this is the, the base of the reactor. You can get this bumper sticker, by the way, from the correct views at hotmail.com. Now, if the melted fuel, which are these scissors, gets hot enough, it will melt through and down. Now you might say, why does that matter? Well, because down here where my wedding ring is, once you get down that far, you have now hit the water table. When you've hit the water table, the radioactivity gets into the entire water supply and causes things like bone cancer. Look up strontium. Causes things like thyroid cancer. Look up cesium. I like to tell the story. I'm a heavy metal fan, among many other styles of music. And I've noticed that the bands like to call themselves the scariest names when they're in the death metal. You got Obituary, and you got all these bands with dreadful names. Cancer. Cesium. Why is that? Because cesium is a very, very frightening element. Cesium, for those of you that don't know, is an industrial band. But in any event, look them up. It is to include that vibe that they're looking for. They pick the darkest element they can find. Cesium. Well, this isn't a death metal CD, friends. This isn't an electronic dance CD. This is real life, and this is it going right into your water supply. You can also see a melt out, which we have seen. Now, to use the other analogy with the bumper sticker that you can get at the correct views at hotmail.com, the fuel is in here, and if there is some kind of an explosion due to a gas being unable to escape or a few other things, then it will explode upwards. And here's the little chimney stack. It'll actually come out of it, like we saw. Look up explosion Fukushima. If that happens, it tends to fall down, and that's what the black goo, the muck that was all over Japan, that is exactly what that was the first time this happened in 2011. So we've got the live feed here. Let's see if she's saying anything else important. And then we're going to zip right back into some more news. We actually have an anti-nuke candidate who has done very well in Japan. Let's see what they're saying here, and then we'll be going right back into more of the commentary of the show. All right, they're still speaking in Japan, so nothing significant has happened yet beyond what we've already talked about. Again, I've got viewers coming in right and left. Welcome aboard. We've seen a problem with the cooling unit at Fukushima that could be devastating. We've seen small tidal waves around 3 feet, 3 feet. We don't know how big they're going to be yet. We are seeing some retractions, and tsunami, they're starting to alleviate some of the warnings there. They don't just have a tsunami warning and a go home warning. You know what I'm saying? They do oftentimes, they say that there's a tsunami watch, which means there could be more coming. They're not sure. So thankfully, it looks like it may be getting better. Let me see what this guy is saying.
The Arizona Cardinals, big loss. Yeah.
All right, so talking about the Arizona Cardinals, I guess we have a moment to go over this. The Guardian, a Japanese anti-nuclear candidate, wins election at site of world's biggest atomic power station. Now, I'm going to butcher the poor man's name, but this hero, Ryuichi Yoneyama, it was a newly elected governor of Niigata, says he will not restart Kashiwazaki Kaiwa power plant. It's a station that was shut down after Fukushima. Now, this is prior to the disaster that we've seen today. This is dated back in October, and I wanted to get to it and was not able to. Let's look at how correct this man was. Let's look at how correct all of us were. It's time for us to quit pretending that global warming is real and spend a little bit more time worrying about what is real, which is the problem that we are seeing from all of these nuclear power plants that have outlived their expiration date to begin with and should have never been started even prior to that. An anti-nuclear candidate has been elected in the region of Japan that houses the world's biggest atomic power station, striking a blow to Tokyo Electric Power. That's GE, whose great idea to do this. Never invest in GE. Pull your money out of any stocks or mutual funds that has GE or TEPCO in it. And they've been pushing to restart the plant even after Fukushima. Well, this hero here, Mr. Yoneyama, a doctor and a lawyer, and notice how doctors are always against nuclear power plants. Maybe that's because they know something about health, heart disease, and cancer, and bones. He's never held office and is backed mostly by left-wing parties. He won the race for governor in Niigata, north of Tokyo, Japan. You know why this is good news? I'll tell you why this is good news. Because the left tends to buy into this farce of global warming. Thankfully, even the left is realizing that the answer to this is definitely not to be relying on nuclear energy. Thankfully, they're understanding this. The vote has dominated concerns about the future of Kashiwazaki Kawawa's power station. Good. Maybe the people there actually have some kind of a life and some chance at some health. How about that? Maybe they're going to see some kind of a future. The shares in Tokyo TEPCO fell 8%. Good. People's health are falling every day because of what these scum have done. As I have promised all of you, under current circumstances where we can't protect your lives and your rail life, I declare clearly that I can't approve a restart. The 49-year-old hero told reporters at his campaign headquarters. Cheers of banzai erupted as the media began projecting him as the winner. Good news there. You know what? That's the kind of thing we need to see more of, because if we don't, we're going to see more things happening all over the world like we're seeing here at Fukushima. Again, for those of you that tuned in for the live stream, it's on the left. It does look like they have tapered the live stream down. That is not bad news. It looks like maybe some of this could be backing up a little bit. We're going to go into other news here in a minute, but I'm letting you know up front that I will keep you posted on this. Share the video and let other people know, even if something horrible doesn't happen here. Hear me out. What are we looking at in the future? We've seen a massive earthquake in 11. They tried to restart them as early as a year later. And now we are seeing problems that consist of a 7.4, which is nothing to be sniffed at, 7.3. And it's only 6 miles deep. That can create a huge amount of water, massive amount of water. When are we going to learn to listen to the people that have been saying all along that we simply cannot go on this way, friends? So I'm going to go on to the other news that I had. I am going to leave the live stream up as it is now, in case they go back to Fukushima coverage here on Fox 10 Phoenix. Shout out to them as I stream them here. Dollar at the highest since 2003. Oil falls in choppy trade. How many people were saying, when Donald Trump gets elected, we're going to see the death of the dollar in the country and everybody's going to blow up like power plants? No. The U.S. dollar index touched a near 14-year high on Wednesday, while oil prices fell in a volatile session as traders were caught between a build in U.S. stockpiles and a chance of agreement for more output. So a lot of that is beyond anything the president would have control of. But I do find it interesting that all the doom and gloomers were saying that Trump was going to destroy business. As a matter of fact, businesses are thrilled that Donald Trump is in, because they're going to be able to hire more people. There's going to be less unnecessary regulation. That doesn't mean no regulation. What we have now is over-regulation. And on Wall Street, declines in bank stocks more than offset gains in technology sector. The S&P 500 ended Tuesday at a 10-week high. I'm not. If I read much more economic news, I'll lose every viewer I have. But suffice to say that the dollar is not crashing under Mr. Trump. Nothing of the kind is happening, and it's not likely to, because I think better economic times are going to be ahead of us, for sure. Let's take a look at this real quick. If I can get the screen to come up. That'd be nice if I knew how to use my own computer. There we go. This is from lifez.com. Trump eyes modern day Patton to lead the Pentagon. Now, this man is a little bit over the top in terms of you're not allowed to touch troops in a disrespectful way. So I draw the line there. I'm not in favor of that. But this man has the right idea. He comes in peace. However, if you threaten his soldiers, himself, or his country, he is going to obliterate you. And this is the kind of man I think we should. I'm glad that Trump is looking at people like this. Again, we're talking about somebody who's facing our enemies. Would I want this man to be the local constable? Do I think he'd make a great police sheriff? Probably not. We're talking about our enemies here. We're talking about people. Go look at your wife, look at your brother, your sister. We're talking about somebody who has sworn to rape, pillage, behead, burn alive in cages, throw from buildings, and otherwise hurt them. So with that in mind, let's look at who Mattis is. He's a retired Marine general, and he's emerged as a strong candidate for Secretary of Defense, according to reports in New York City. He's going to have to get special permission to run from Congress, because you have to be out according to federal law mandates unless they get a waiver from Congress. They need to be out at least for 7 years, and he's only been out for 3. But Trump is trying to get him in. The outspoken general was born in Washington and has a plethora, it says, of experiences in the Marines and served in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. His military resume is so very impressive, he was floated as a possible presidential candidate in 2016. He declined to run, but his experience has Trump seriously considering him for the Pentagon. Good. Okay, very, very good. They call him the Mad Dog. His other nickname is the Warrior Monk. Now notice monk. Fight if you have to. Man of peace if you don't. Trump supporters get an updated version of General Patton, which is good. It's Trump keeping his promises here. Here's some of his quotes. You go into Afghanistan, you got guys who slap around women for 5 years because they don't wear a veil. You know, guys like that ain't got no manhood left anyway, so it's a hell of a lot easier to shoot them. Now, you might think that that's cold and callous and hurtful and harm, but you know what? They're not just smacking around women in burqas who are dumb enough to go ahead and choose that lifestyle. They're doing it to people that have no choice but to be roped into it. Donald Trump is supposed to be so against women's rights, huh? Well, there's a man that's going to be possibly the Secretary of Defense who sounds to me like he is in favor of women's rights. So maybe you were wrong about Trump again. He said, I come in peace. I didn't bring artillery. Let me repeat. I come in peace. I didn't bring artillery, but I'm pleading with you with tears in my eyes. If you F with me, I'll kill you all. He said this to Iraqi officers. Why did he say that? Because Iraqi officers were getting training from America and then turning on the country. And this man said, you're not going to do that if I train you. That's what he's saying. Planning. Be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everybody that you meet. Why would he say that? Because in 2003, people were coming up asking for help and setting off bombs in their hand. That's why. The most important 6 inches on the battlefield is between your ears. You are part of the world's most feared and trusted force. Engage your brain before you engage your weapon. Again, listen to that. He said, go out and slaughter all the Arabs, right? We hate brown people. We hate women. Just kill them all. Is that what he said? No. Engage your brain before you engage your weapon. That was to Marines. Gun happy Marines. No, he's got it. He knows what he's doing here. You cannot allow any of your people to avoid the brutal facts. If they start living in a dream world, it's going to be bad, like the left is. No war is over until the enemy says it's over. We may think it's over. We may declare it's over. But in fact, did you see that? It literally played itself. The "You Are an Idiot" song started all by itself. That's kind of spooky. Killing. The first time you blow someone away is not a significant event. That said, there are some effers in the world who just need to be shot. What he means is those attempting to kill you, you must defend yourself. Just look at some of this. Find the enemy that wants to end the experiment of the American democracy, and I'll kill every one of them until they're so sick of killing us that they leave us and our freedoms intact. Again, if you are trying to end America, not that we're going to go to other countries and re-nation build, not that we're going to send our kids, our boys and girls on the ground in order to push this agenda forward. No, you leave America alone and we'll leave you alone. But if you try to end what he's calling the American experiment, then we will end you. He says, I'm going to plead with you, do not cross me, because if you do, the survivors will write about what we do here for 10,000 years. Good. Put the fear of God into them. He says, I don't lose any sleep at night over the potential for failure. I cannot even spell the word. You know what? Good. Good, and God bless him, and God bless Donald Trump for bringing somebody into this who is going to go ahead and worry about America first, as promised, but is not a warmonger and does not come seeking a fight. That kind of person, the school bully, we don't want in anywhere near weaponry here. For those of you just tuning in, it was live Fukushima stuff. The Fukushima news has died down a bit. We're going to go to the dumbdee of the day, which I don't have any theme music for because my computer was possessed by some malevolent monster that turned it on ahead of time. This is from the Independence Sentinel, the idiocy of Donald Sutherland. What an utter freaking dolt. He says white males are mendacious, misogynists, and racists. Because we all know that it's misogynistic to want to stick up for women in the Middle East. We all know that it's racist to want to protect the innocent Iraqis from the bloodthirsty Iraqis, from ISIS. That's just terrible. Donald Sutherland is as crazy as he seemed in the Hunger Games. So listen to this exchange to know what he's talking about. And he's not acting or joking. He's serious. He blathered on insanely with a panel on ICE about how Helen Mirren told him that you are the most privileged person on earth. Why? Because he's a white male. He was ashamed and has gotten more ashamed that it has seen as part of the group that is mendacious, misogynistic, racist bigots. He can't give his family a hopeful view because their women's rights are gone, the environment is gone, and minimum wage is gone. Minimum wage has worked to hold poor people down and make them even more poor for decades. The environment is going to flourish under Donald Trump because he is going to put in clean coal. Why haven't we had it now? Because it's too expensive to do. Donald Trump is going to make sure that that changes. And women's rights are perfectly intact. Some of the people that are leading his transition team are actually women. But I wouldn't expect him to know that because he is, in fact, the winner of the Dumbdee of the Day award. And that, friends, is the correct views. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And remember, this is listener supported. I make nothing off this show if you guys don't help me. The correct views at hotmail.com. Donate through PayPal. The correct views at hotmail.com. Anybody who wants either one of these, they are autographed. You're probably going to want the top one since Hillary already isn't elected. $5 for one, $7 for both. If you want the Hillary one, I'll just give it to you for $1. Do me a favor, friends. spread the show around. Let people know that I'm out here. And remember that nuclear technology is never the answer. Good night, friends, and God bless all of you.